What's up everybody? Maine Fly Guys here with another tutorial. We are going to be tying a hotspot or parapost caddis today. I went ahead and started. The body's nothing special. You can do whatever you want with the body, it doesn't matter. For this one here I just have some hackle wraps, but it's just a green thread base. Because the hackle is going to be so overwhelming, I don't find the body particularly important, just that there is some sort of segmentation going on. I think that is important. So that looks pretty good right about there. You want to leave, oh gosh, I don't know, 3 to 4 eye lengths, because you're going to have a fairly substantial head, because we won't be doing the typical caddis head. So I trim the tops off, try to make them nice and parallel. This just helps the deer hair sort of lay down, and you'll see from top and from bottom it looks pretty good there. So right now we're going to add our deer hair in, and the biggest mistake, since you have to basically you have to wrap up all the tips moving forward, you really can't use a big wing. It has to be fairly thin, or on the thinner side, I guess. So find the spot that you want, twist your thread clockwise to have some good solid pressure. I do 2 loose wraps and then I pinch down. 2 loose wraps and then I pinch down. Then I like to flatten my wing a little bit. Now I'm going to come in with my scissors first. You can hold the wing back here if you want. You can hold the wing for some extra support, but I'm going to come in with my scissors and just slowly start trimming away the excess here. Now remember, these tips are going to be covered, so you absolutely need them to be before the eye of the hook. Once I get down to a comfortable spot with the scissors, right about there, what I will do is come in with a flexible razor blade, if need be, to trim up anything else. And there's a few hairs, because it's so much sharper than my scissors and so much more precise, that I can just really get in there and make it nice and detailed. Okay, so I think that will be fine. That looks about fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it how I want, make sure my wing's nice and flat, because once you cover these tips there's no going back. So I'm going to wrap forward to the eye. Do not crowd the eye. What you should have is something like this, where it's a little sort of head starting to form. There we go, little head starting to form, and then you're going to work your way back. You don't want to build up too much of a head. You can cut any loose tips. You don't want to build up too much of a head, because you're going to put some other stuff on there. So be careful not to add too many wraps. If you have some hairs peeking out, it's okay. It's okay if you have some hairs peeking out, because those are going to be covered with dubbing. So don't worry about that. So now I'm going to work all the way back to where I initially tied in my caddis wing. There we go. How's that? How's that look? That looks pretty dang good. So now I'm going to take some poly yarn here. This is just orange. Really important step is that you need to brush it out. If you don't brush it out, it'll stay clumped like this, and you won't be able to make it a nice poof. That's what I said. So I'm just going to brush this out. I just take a toothbrush, or this is a dubbing brush, and I just brush it out right on my finger. That's it. So just take a minute and brush it out. Okay, so here I've brushed it out, and you can see how nice and straight it is. It just makes it for a much better post. So what I like to do is just lay the fibers down. Instead of hooking it around, I like to just lay them flat. I don't know, it's just better for me. And then just one real solid, make sure your thread's in the right place, real solid pull. That's it, just one. And then what I'm going to do is take it, and I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to go around back one time, and I'm going to go around the front one time. And that's locked in. Now, what I do, instead of gluing it, a lot of people will glue it at the base. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the base like a pair of posts where you kind of go around. Be careful not to get any of your wing fibers locked because they're fairly close. If you get one or two, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be just fine. So you don't need to do a lot of wraps, and make sure they're very close to the base, which I know is tough because the wing is kind of in the way. But very, very close to the base. And I just do a few. I don't do too many. Maybe 5, 6. Not that many. And then once you think you've got it, like this, where it's standing nice and straight up, you see I've caught a fiber here. Just trim them away. Once you've done 5 or 6 turns, you're good. That post is going to be nice and fluffy. It's going to be easy to see. Trim all these little pieces away, these little fibers, and you're good. You're golden. So now the easy part, we're just going to make a fluffy head. And I don't want it to be, how's that looking? Is that looking pretty good? Yes, it is. I don't want it to be super bulky. So what I do, I like it to be more, I don't know, more scruffy looking. So you can do whatever you want, but what I like to do is add squirrel hair, because squirrel hair is, one, it's pretty good as far as water resistance. It's not too bad. And 2, it gives a really scruffy look to it. So let's see if I can, there we go. So what I do is I take a little wax, and I just put a little bit on, not a lot, and then I really tack on the squirrel, and very, very loosely. So I put a good amount, but I put it so loosely on there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I put it very loosely on here. So it just really, really isn't on there tight. And what that allows me to do is create this very scruffy looking head. So I'm going to do 1, 3 wraps out back, and then a bunch of wraps out front. Again, remember, be careful not to crowd the eye, because it's very, very easy. So now what I'm going to do is sort of whip finish, and then you can come in and clean up, because the cleanup is probably the most important in making the head look really cool. You could come through here and add antenna too at this very last section. You have enough room to do so. If you've done it right, you have plenty of room. So you see there's just a little head. You could easily put antennas there. So now we're going to come through, and I'm just going to pull out some fibers, because again, I don't want it to be too scruffy, but I do like having this sort of, I don't know, almost leg-like structures. It almost looks like legs. And so now all that's left after you've come through and clean up, and I won't spend too much more time doing that, but after you've come in and cleaned up this head, is now it's time to trim your post. And as far as trimming, no one really talks about it, but like, how far down do you go? And it's all dependent on visibility. How visible do you want it? For this pattern, I like to have the post be the same height as the tip of the tippy top of the wing. So I'm going to come in right about there and trim it. Any higher, and I just think that it looks a little ridiculous. Any smaller, and it becomes a little difficult to see. So if the point of the pattern is to see it, then I want it to be at least visible. So there's our pattern, and again, you can come through and sort of clean up the bottom. But again, I like that buggy look, how that kind of scruffy, buggy look. It's very caddis-like. But anyway, so there's our pattern. There's our post, nice and fluffy. See, if there would have been glue at the bottom, it wouldn't have been as fluffy as this. It would have been tighter. The two sections would have looked strange. It would have been strange. So there's our pattern. It's a really easy caddis, floats like cork. I mean, it's unbelievable. Hope you guys use it because it really is an incredible pattern. And if you're a guide and you want a caddis that's visible for your clients, this is an absolute killer. So thanks for watching, everyone, and we hope you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram. We put up new fishy content daily, and well, we hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.